What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake. Today we are going to be doing a little tree job. I'm walking down to the International right now, gonna get it fired up. We have to swap out the dumpster can for the flatbed. I think ultimately that'll be best body to have on. And we're gonna be loading up the Forst tracked mini wood chipper today, and we're waiting on Chris to arrive here, but yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna be doing tree work, need the tracked mini chipper. We're gonna be fly chipping, so we don't need the dumpster can, and we're gonna throw the sides on the flatbed to hold all the gear. So that's the plan. Let's hope this beast fires up. Here is Chris, right on time. All right, so we got the flatbed down here. We're gonna throw on the sides, like I said, to hold, some of the smaller gear in, as well as the chipper. You can see I got these ramps here, and that's how we'd normally get the machine up, onto the deck of the flatbed. But if you've seen the past videos where I've been using these ramps more and more, these ramps are super heavy. Chris, what's the problem with those big steel ramps that we normally use?
We throw our backs out about every time we have to put them away.
Yeah, we can't throw our backs out before we even get to the job, right?
No, that'd be terrible.
Well, I have a solution.
Do we?
I do.
All right, let's see it.
Okay. Guys, so we got the Forst XR8D mini track chipper over here. We got our old ramps that are just so heavy. Like, these things literally, just one ramp is easily over 100 pounds. Easily over 100 pounds. So to replace those old ramps, we got some new ramps over here. My friends over at Mighty Products sent me out these two 6-foot by 14-inch, 5,000 pound capacity aluminum loading ramps. Now, the best thing about these ramps, look at that. Each one weighs just 30 pounds, and I'm not strong. And I'm doing this with one hand. It makes me feel really strong. I wish I could do that with the old ramps. But These are the Mighty loading ramps. Now, these aren't just your standard ATV folding loading ramps. No, these things do not fold. They are super robust, 2.5 inches thick, 6 foot tall, because you can see I'm standing next to it, I'm 6 foot, 14 inches wide, and each ramp is rated for 5,000 pound working like load limit. So you got the two of them. Technically, I think that means you could probably load something like 10,000 pounds on each axle or something like that. Now, the Forst XR8D is nowhere near 5,000 pounds even, you know, total. It's like 4,000 pounds something. So these ramps should be more than enough, more than robust enough to handle, you know, the application of it. The biggest thing about these is that they're just so light, like they're easy. They have this little stub nose on the end, they call it. They have different styles, but this stub nose is perfect for latching onto the rub rails on the side of the flatbed can here. You can also put it on the end, like we're gonna, you know, show in a minute here, to load up the Forst track chipper. But I'm super excited to have these things. I will put a link down in the description for these, as well as a promo code. But again, thank you to the guys over at Mighty Products, because these ramps are something that I've wanted for quite a while, and I think they're gonna make my life a hell of a lot easier compared to those big old steel ramps. So let's try them out. These things are great. I think they should fit perfectly up here where I keep my ramps. Just right there. Like so. All right, so we're also going to be using these speed binders and chains that were provided to me by Mighty Products as well. I've been loving these things. I've been using them for several months. I wouldn't say it's any faster than a conventional, you know, ratcheting binder, but it sure is easier. Just like that, we're tightened down. All right, we've arrived at the job. We have some backup equipment to use if need be. But basically what we got is this maple right here with the vines and the hanger in it. That is a full removal. We have this big sugar maple here with the 2 leads. We're gonna take just the 2 lowest branches off of that, the little bit of vines, and then the little maple beanpole sapling over to the left of it. And then we have a row of trees over here that we're just gonna be lightly like raising up and kind of opening up so they have a good view of the field on the other side. It's a nice field. And selectively taking a couple branches that are rubbing from that elm right there, they're rubbing on that big oak. So Not too crazy. We're gonna be getting the track chipper down here, chipping up all the brush, fly chipping into the woods. And I think at some point we're probably gonna try to pull some of these piles of brush out of the woods and get those chipped up and cleaned up as well, because as you can see, they are putting in a pool. So that's the plan. Let's get at it. Got some gnarly in there.
Okay, cervezas.
Today, no, maybe tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hoy es sábado para
No.
mí. Hoy es sábado para mí.
Oh, para ti.
That was fucking perfect. It's almost like we know what we're doing.
All right, guys, got those two tops laid out parallel to each other. Perfect placement. Look at that nice hinge. And a lot of good holding wood. Chris is tying on the rope so I can tie off the stick and then I'll rappel down. That, I mean, this is obviously the biggest tree. The other ones, you know, we're just doing prunes, so not too bad. Oh, geez, I didn't notice this hollow pocket on the backside of this maple. No, it's this other maple. I haven't climbed yet. You didn't do your thumb test. It's over in between the two codoms over here. But no, it's not too bad. It's not terrible. All right, rope's on. We're doing good. Muchachos are impressed. Spider-Man. All right, well, we got all that brush cleaned up relatively easy thanks to the excavator and the Forst track chipper here. Chris and I were saying on the headsets, we're pretty impressed that we were able to feed this little chipper with that excavator. I mean, this thing really it's only an 8-inch chipper. It has a pretty small opening in there, as you guys can see behind this plastic. So to be able to manipulate it and, you know, get those pieces in with a big piece of equipment like that, you know, says something. It's a testament to the engineering and design of this thing. It has a nice big opening. So you are able to feed it, you know, with an excavator. You could certainly feed it with like a mini skid steer or something. So next up on the list is it's got this pile of brush and like vines and stuff back there. And I guess it was put there before it was determined that that was actually wetlands. So we can't get the machine back there. I guess it's wetlands. You see this old stone wall. Everything to the left is wetlands. To the right, it's not. That's why we're able to chip into that area. So the plan is now we're going to try to get a little rope action on this pile and just pull it out because it's all a rat's nest. That stuff looks like it's been there a while. We were going to try to chip it, but because it's all vines, I think we're just going to load it out with the wood and stuff. My buddy who we're doing this job for, he's putting in the pool. He has a big hook lift truck. So we'll just load it out in his dumpster along with the pile there, and I think there's some more brush up there. But so far so good. This Forst chipper is impressing us pretty well. Okay, we got that pile of brush back there tied off with the rope as best we could. We kind of fished it through. Let's see how the excavator is able to pull it out. right, so we're making steady progress. Got those piles of brush out of there, stacked up. There's too much dirt and crap mixed in to be able to chip it, and it would be a nightmare to chip it anyway. So we'll just haul that away like we said before. Chris went up, limbed up this maple. We got the sapling taken care of, cut the poison ivy on the sugar maple, cut the wisteria on the hickory, and now we're coming over here to this maple. Chris is taking a look at it. He said he thinks he could probably hit the majority of it with a pole saw. This thing does have a big hollow. Okay. This thing does have a big hollow pocket on the bottom side, as you can see there, but the whole tree is leaning towards the field, so the homeowner isn't too concerned with it. So I think we're probably, just for starters, gonna hit these couple small suckers and see how much it opens it up, and then we'll go from there. While Chris is doing that, I'll probably work on getting a line set in one of these next ones that we actually have to climb, and take care of that. So that's the plan.
So we raised up Maple 1 over the pool equipment. Got number 2 raised up over the field so they have a nicer view. Now Maple number 3, Jake, very much like a squirrel, just scurried across the top of that tree and got to where he needs to go. He's going to take out that big piece of dead and the branch that he's shaking under his feet, just to give him a better view of the field. And from that point, he is going to swing over into the elm effortlessly, and should be good. That fancy little maneuver you saw over here, we call that double tying in. So Jake had his system set up way in this top of this maple. I had another system set up in this elm. We tied both of them to Jake, and he just slowly swung over to the elm and was able to go up, make himself useful up in the top of the elm there. Battery was pretty much dead, so we didn't get that limb coming off on film, but with the help of the guys that are doing the masonry here, we got it on the ground. This side, yard side of the fence here, Jake is just making his way back over to the oak. He's going to flush off some of these lower dead plugs and this one last elm limb, and that will be it for the climbing on this job. There's a ton of brush on the ground right now. It's been really hard to keep up, but we'll get it done.
Alright guys, we knocked down a section of the stone wall and Chris is taking the Forst over. You're looking good. Bring your right track forward. Track forward with your right. I would drop down. You don't need to be, you don't gotta be so high. Yeah, drop down. Now, right track forward, yep. Good, yep. Come on in. Welcome to the party. All right, this will make it a lot easier. Well, these trees are looking a lot better than they did before. We finally got all that brush chipped up. So nice having this machine being able to fill the forest for us, especially with all this poison ivy going on. We had one last minute add-on, and if you could have guessed it from the beginning, it's this big crusty ash. So it sounds like we're just going to drop it and kind of push it off the field. No real cleanup, just kind of organizing it. But yeah, let's do it. Guys, International just fired up, no problem.
No idea what's going on with this truck. I don't know. It's like very temperamental lately. Chris coming out on the Forst with all of the gear inside. We are done. Homeowner was extremely happy. We were just talking, he said that his wife was a professional botanical illustrator. So she drew all sorts of trees and plants and leaves and stuff like that. Really unique job, really cool job, I'd say. So he has a special affinity for trees and was very happy with the work that we did. One hand. That's great. These are great ramps, guys. Maybe this will be a good thumbnail. Well, guys, that is gonna be. You got an itch? Oh,
I got earplugs.
You got
my sawdust.
Yeah, a little goodie bag there to remember the day. All right, that's gonna be it. Like I said, client's super happy. We got the job done. The two of us, the excavator, the Forst XR8D, the Mighty products, ramps. I mean, everything performed flawlessly today.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Knock on wood. You never want to say that ahead of time, but you know.
When Jake first told me about this job and said we would be loading the Forst with a mini excavator, I thought he was crazy.
I thought I was crazy. I was like, oh, well, there's going to be one there. We'll see how it does.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, we use these old doggies, but
it totally performed though.
Yeah, that was really. We tried one other time at my house really quickly. We were rushed. It was like after a side job. It worked great today. I think I've gotten a lot better at operating the excavator, but I think this really opened up my eyes to like, we are a pretty capable outfit here with the equipment that we have. I don't know of any other company in the area that has one of these chippers. Nonetheless, a chipper that could have gotten back into the area that we were dealing with today, wheeled, maybe a tiny little chipper. I mean, obviously the WoodMax could have on the back of the tractor, but I mean, this is an 8-inch chipper. The WoodMax is an 8-inch chipper, but this will run circles around the WoodMax all day, like all day. This thing is a beast. You can chip up all the brush on any tree. Yeah, you're gonna be left with wood, wood on the smaller side, but in this case, it didn't matter because my buddy is gonna be hauling a bunch of debris out of here anyway and filling in and everything. So this was great. Worked out really well. Homeowner super happy. Opened up our eyes to a new way that we could potentially do tree work, bringing my excavator. And like the excavator was like having an extra 3 guys, made our lives really easy on this hot day. But that's it. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. Check out the description for product links to those ramps, the speed binders, the Forst chipper. You know, again, if we use it on the channel, it's something that we like and it's a quality product. I don't promote, you know, bullshit. So as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. My name's Jake.
And I'm Chris.
This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.
Another new ending.
Another new ending. You know, we're changing it up. New year, new me.